Greetings Indie Warriors, and welcome back to I Dream of Indie Games. Old Gamer Joe here, and today we have a very special sponsored video, and yes, and a giveaway. That's right, it's been a long time since we've had a giveaway here at the channel, but we are giving away 2 pre-release copies, this is big, of Vertical Shoot 'em Up Technocide. That's the game we're talking about today, and a huge special thank you to Dexterous Games for sponsoring this video and the giveaway. So gracious of you to offer 2 copies of your game up early before it even releases. A couple things before we get into the actual game here. I'm going to announce a secret word at some point in this video, so all you gotta do is watch, enjoy, listen for the secret word, and comment with that word down below. If you get the word correct, you will be entered, and I'm gonna drop those pre-release codes on 2 random commenters. So good luck with that. If you don't win, however, fear not. There is a demo available for the game on Steam right now that you can check out. Even better, if you're watching this a little bit later, there's going to be an updated Steam Next Fest demo next month. Now, if you are one of the lucky winners, the developers simply ask that you consider joining their Discord to offer further feedback on the game so they can continue to improve it. I'll have a link to Dexterous Games Discord in the description box below, along with a link to the game. Alright then, elephant in the room. I know some people look at sponsored videos and they say, he's getting paid, we aren't going to get a real opinion on the game, yada yada. Hey, that might happen at some outlets, I can't speak for them, but it will never happen here at I Dream of Indie Games, and honestly, Dexterous Games doesn't want me shilling out their product, even if I was going to, which I wouldn't, but they want real feedback, of course, and why wouldn't they? So just like any of our coverage here at the channel, I'm going to go in on the things I like about Technocide, and the things I dislike. All of that said, let's discuss what this indie effort is all about. I am an 80s, 90s kid, so I grew up loving arcade-style shoot-'em-ups. Technocide is a vertical shooter, like I mentioned earlier, but the goal here is not so much about dodging bullets. That's part of the formula. The game is really more about not allowing enemies to reach the bottom of your screen. You see that red health bar down there? The more enemies that break through and get past you, the more damage you're going to take. Now you can still be shot by enemies, however this will leave your ship stun-locked as opposed to blowing you up entirely like in many arcade shoot-'em-ups. And of course, that gives the enemy a golden opportunity to sneak right past you. It is a really cool system that I liked quite a bit, not only because it's something a bit different for the genre, but because it adds an element of strategy to the game that makes it feel pretty intense at times. Before I get into more of the game's intricacies, I should probably touch on the plot of the game, the reason for you shooting down all these drones and ships and whatever else. Technocide opens on the planet Carmenta, where we are shown a scene between a businessman of sorts and a truck delivery driver, with the scene taking place in front of what appears to be a metallic pyramid. The man is demanding more delivered resources of some kind from the truck driver, who informs him that pirates have been hijacking more and more cargo, so it's difficult. Suddenly, the pyramid structure just blasts off into the sky like Jeff Bezos' dick rocket, and our game begins. There's really not that many options to be concerned with in Technocide, however, you can play the game with both a mouse keyboard or controller setup. The controller support was perfectly fine in my experience, and it isn't like there's a ton of different buttons in the game anyways, so it's really whatever you prefer. I'm a controller guy myself, some of you might like the mouse keyboard, go for it either way, you can do it whichever way you wish. Technocide will offer both a 1- and 2-player mode as well, which I personally think is awesome. I love shoot-'em-up games that allow for 2 players. Very nice touch. Sadly, I haven't been able to try the 2-player mode just yet, but I do plan to play it with Silent Sign soon, because spoiler, I really enjoyed my time with this game. Do note that the 2-player mode is not available in the current demo, but it will be in the Steam Next Fest demo, and it's available if you happen to win one of those pre-release versions. So anyways, remember the pyramid thing that I mentioned earlier that blasted off into space? That is apparently the ASDI, otherwise known as the Artificial Scientific Discovery Intelligence. You will now control a pilot who is sent off to different planets in order to fend off drones that are attacking. Like I mentioned earlier, the game is all about not allowing enemies to get to the bottom of the screen, and the best way to do that is to blast them down, of course. That's easy enough by holding down the right trigger if you're playing on a controller, and no, you don't have to keep mashing on it or anything like that. You can just hold the trigger down and let the bullets fly. You of course dodge and weave with the stick, which feels surprisingly responsive, and eventually earn more weapons as you progress that can be switched between on the fly. Later, enemies are going to be color-coded even, so you may need to use a specific weapon that matches their color to take them out effectively. Defeated enemies will leave behind power cores for you to collect, which help to boost your power meter. As your power meter fills up, you can hold the left trigger to execute a more powerful secondary fire that will take out the drones at a much faster rate. But of course, it's limited in its use, and you have to earn more and more by killing enemies again. I was really impressed with how balanced everything felt, and just how addicting this core gameplay loop became. The game did feel easy at first, but things are going to ramp up more and more as you discover more planets. Yes, between missions, you'll be brought to a planetary display where you can select your next destination. Each area offers a unique reward, whether it be health, a shop, or gratitude points. Each level is marked with a specific difficulty, and again, because your health doesn't recover on its own, this adds even more strategy to the game. You might want notoriety points, or you may need health. This can dictate which path is best to select. However, new drone types are introduced often and they get faster, so the game becomes challenging in a hurry. Do you chance going into a level with 2 health for a sweet reward? Or do you play a less challenging level to gain back some health? The open-ended nature of things is really fun. Wondering why you would ever choose the reputation points? Well, they act as your high score for bragging rights and also allow you to purchase new equipment. By the way, the secret word is pasta. Comment below if you're still paying attention. All told, factoring everything, Technocide was pretty addicting, I gotta say. It's responsive, it's just well designed in my opinion. I was actually really impressed for a small indie. I also quite enjoyed the retro visuals. They're not mind-blowing, mind you, but they're pretty decent. They're serviceable. They wouldn't really feel all that out of place in an 80s, 90s shoot-'em-up game. I do think some of the drone designs got to looking a little bit too similar after a while, but that is kind of par for the course with this genre, and I appreciate the fact that there seems to at least be a decent variety of different drones, even though their colors are kind of all similar. It does set them apart a little bit. Some are like bombs that will just blow up, others are just giant. But drones aside, the visual style really is pretty decent, and that's impressive for an indie dev. And the sound is really well done as well. It calls back to a lot of those 80s, 90s shmups, just as you would expect. You get those crunchy explosions, solid electronic musical compositions which feature driving kick drum and synths. You kind of know what this is going to sound like without even hearing it, though I have played some clips throughout this video and I'll play some more before I get out of here for sure. It's a pretty good sounding game. So Technocide, at the end of the day, you just never know what you're gonna get when a small indie dev drops a game into your inbox. It might be the next greatest thing that nobody plays. It might be the next big game that everybody plays. It might just be someone's weekend hobby, and it kind of shows. But in the case of Technocide, I think it's a really well-made little indie that shoot-'em-up fans should definitely at least consider adding to their wish list. This developer has a lot of talent, and I wish I had more negative feedback to give them, but I just didn't have all that much bad to say about the game. The gameplay loop is pretty addicting and fun. You nailed the controls down quite well, and the visuals and audio are pretty solid for the game you've created. My advice to the folks out there watching this video, don't sleep on this one. Yes, there are a lot of shmups out there, but 1, with this game you'll be supporting a talented smaller dev, and 2, Technocide does enough to stand out. I do like the idea of having to block enemies from getting behind you. It's really cool. Highly recommended, sponsored or not. Thank you again so much to Dexterous Games for sponsoring this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Be sure to head down to the description box where we have links to go and wishlist the game and the developer's Discord as well. Hop in there and show him some love and be sure to support the game. Good luck winning a copy. They are saying the full release will be out a little bit after Steam Next Fest, so you won't have to wait all that much longer either way. Voice to the voiceless. I will see you in the next video.